So during a recent trip to the Nike factory store, I scooped another pair of these absolute classics and we're gonna look at them today. Hey guys, welcome back to Kicks Reasons channel, and today we're looking at the Nike's Huarache white and metallic silver. But what I like to call these, and what we called them back in the day, was the electric red color, or because it's kind of like a pink, hot pink, very similar to what the Air Jordan 6 has. So very nice and classic colorway. I paid $41 in the Nike factory store, and I cannot be happier. I have multitude of these, and this is one of my go-to pair when it comes to summer shoe because of the great comfort it provides. You don't really have to lace them. Yeah, there's laces, but you kind of keep the laces, you know, just lace through, and you slip them on, slip them off. This is the whole idea of the Huarache. That's why we didn't have, even back in the day when Tinker actually designed these, there was no actual heel cup over here. It's not the structure of a normal runner. And this was more of the idea of, you know, slip on, slip off, easy to put on your feet, kind of a sneaker. Love me some runners, especially on the summer. This is my go-to. I have never put anything else but runners and, you know, obviously flip-flops. But yeah, these are what we used to call summer shoes. Back in the day, we called these summer shoes, and the basketball ones we called the winter shoes for the obvious reasons. So when these released again several years back, obviously I was not looking forward to buying them on full price. So finding them randomly at the Nike factory store, it's always a big surprise for me because these released back in 2022. And let me see exactly. Yeah, produced in December of 22, so released early 23. So it's about 2 years and something since they released. And I knew I'm gonna catch them down the line somewhere, somehow, in a cheaper price. So patience pays off, patience saves wallets. I'm always on the hunt of something like that. Finding these for $41, they had to be mine. Same exact comfort as all the other releases before, and they are continuing to substitute the synthetic upper, which was on the original one, with very soft genuine leather. And I get the idea of making them a little bit more premium, but honestly, if you keep the price lower and keep the same materials as the original one, probably it will be better. You know, Nike are always doing these interesting ideas, I would call them, just so that I don't be completely rude, but we have original pairs that's supposed to have genuine leather and they don't, and then we have pairs like this that never had genuine leather but now they do. So I don't know what the idea behind it is. I would have been completely fine with that soft synthetics they used to have, but yeah, I guess I'll take that. I mean, I'll take the leather. I love leather. Just why don't we use that kind of materials on other shoes, other models that actually have to have that? Other than that, it's same exact unified one booty, kind of a upper, soft, nice, pliable, breathable, perforated, great for the summer. The biggest difference here is on the tone, or proverbial tone here, right on top we have Nike Air Huarache stitched in patch, different than some of the other ones that were released as well at the time, and later retro as well at the time, with the rubber logo patch of Huarache. And you know what I'm talking about. These Huarache had their own kind of a logo. One of the things I really liked, I love the segmentation. Every single section of Nike and Reebok and some of the other brands have their own kind of logos, their own kind of segments. Obviously the Huarache, Flight, Force, Cross Trainer, Jordan, they all had their own kind of divisions with their own logos and their identity. So I really like that back in the day. Yeah, and just like the other ones, these fit slightly smaller, so always advise going half a size up on the Huarache. I did the same thing, fit exactly like all the other previous pairs that I have, with the same sizing. Beautiful Nike right on the back in the same color, where that rubberized patches. And just word of advice, over the time and over years, that will harden and probably crumble. Just wear them while they last, because I've seen original pairs and this is crumbling terribly. Air on the back, we have a full-length encapsulated air unit here, and because of the midsole is such a soft EVA, almost entirely the same as the original pair was in the early 90s, and when you put them on feet, the comfort is instant. I absolutely love it. And like I said, when I'm traveling, this is probably one of my top shoes to go to, flying and long flights, airplanes and stuff like that, because going through TSA, I can just slip them off, slip them on without worrying about the lacing system. They're not hugging really tight around my foot too much, cutting my circulation. And obviously the step-in comfort is amazing. As mentioned before many times in my previous videos, outsoles very blank, very not inspired. This is what they were doing back in the day. Pretty much every single model, it was just a slab of rubber. Somewhere it will be written Nike Air, just like here in the midfoot section, and that's about it. No colors, no combinations, no storytelling, none of that stuff. This was very common for Nike, but regardless, I think they've done a pretty good job with this specific retro, and I'm sure most of you have probably seen it already, but who cares? I just got them, so I'm excited about them, and I wanted to show them to you guys. On feet, they look amazing, just like all the other ones. And another difference I am noticing here, and sadly I cannot pull the insole because it's very heavily glued. Instead of the Nike and the Huarache logo on the heel of the insole, we just have Nike icons with the swoosh kind of reversed instead of the normal way, and icons is right underneath. And I guess this is kind of a part of the, you know, their legacy, what they call the icons now. Obviously this is an iconic model, so yeah, I co-sign with that. So yeah, what else I can say? Love this model. Pretty much any colorway I find around this price, anything under $50, I'm grabbing them. They're awesome on feet, they're great for the summer, and always different. You know, one thing that I really love about this model is the lack of swoosh anywhere, or at least big visible swoosh. You know, yeah, we have the Nike in the back and Air, and right on the, you know, the upper part of the unified booty. Yes, you can see that it's Nike, but back in the day, most of the models featured prominent big Nike swoosh on the lateral, medial, or just the lateral side. Here we don't have that, and I really love that model for that because it was more low-key, and if you know, you know kind of deal back in the day. So yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Hit the thumbs up if you like the video, stay tuned to the channel, subscribe if you're new, check out some of the other videos coming very soon, and as always, guys, you have a wonderful day.